Guten Tag, hallo alle zusammen. Hier ist Frau Mays. I am the German teacher at Northern Middle School, and I come from Colorado. But now I get to teach in Maryland about Germany and German-speaking countries. So this is going to be awesome. Here are some of the things that I expect from you if you're a student in my class. The first thing is to look at me so that you can see how I make the sounds that we need to make for German class, and also I'll give you some clues about what those words mean. The second thing is to involve yourself in the class. If I ask you to say something, say it out loud so I can hear you. And if I do a gesture, do the gesture with me because it will help you learn the words faster. Then make sure you're showing me if you get it or if you don't. Like with your facial expressions or with your body language, you can do this to me, whoa, slow down. Or you can just raise your hand and say, wie bitte? I'll teach you how to say in German, I don't get it. Another expectation is that when your mind wanders, and it might if you're making connections between something you just heard and something you've experienced, that's an important part of learning. But if you catch yourself wandering down that rabbit trail, make sure to tune back in to the instructions so that you don't miss something important. The next expectation says everything in the target language, because we aim to have 90% or more of all the conversation in class to be in German. That means I have to try for 100% and then give us a little flexibility for the times when we need clarification or we need to talk about something that's happening in the room. So we're going to do everything in the target language, and you'll have my full support so that you can do it too. Finally, there can be no talking over me or whoever else the speaker is. If you have something to say, raise your hand so that I can acknowledge you and let you participate, but we just can't talk over one another because we're trying to learn a language. You need that input. We can't have interference from other conversations going on. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does. You've done school before, but you've never done school like this. Here's some of the things you can expect from me, your teacher. Now, I'm going to take a pause for a minute and talk to mainly the grown-ups here because your parents and grandparents and whoever else might be watching the video with you, they might have had a language class before. I hear this a lot. I studied Spanish for 4 years, but I don't remember any of it. Well, that's not what I want for you, and it's not what I want for the kids. Your child should be able to speak German better in 40 years than they can while they're in my class, because you continue with the learning process beyond when you leave Northern Middle School. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break from traditional instruction. We're not going to memorize vocabulary lists and isolated words. We're not going to practice verb conjugations, and we're not going to learn about German in English. We're going to read in German, we're going to listen in German, and we'll be able to respond using signals at first, and then using words in German, and then phrases in German in a real context that's based on communication, not just learning about the language for the sake of learning a language. We're going to use the language to communicate with one another. Proficiency is our goal for listening, reading, writing, and speaking in German. Proficiency means that you can go out in the real world and actually communicate with somebody in the other language, and also to negotiate meaning when maybe you don't have the same language. So proficiency is also how I'm going to grade the class. You are expected to attain a certain level of proficiency in your beginning language courses, and my job is to make sure we all get there. And your grade is going to reflect that. So if it takes you a little bit longer to get there than somebody else, I reserve the right to go back and change your grade once you do make that proficiency level. So if your grade changes, it's not going to be because you turned in an assignment. It's going to be changing because you learned more German and you got better at it. Then I'll make your grade higher. The way to get a higher grade is to get more input so that you can learn German better. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. This is going to be an awesome year, and I can't wait to see you guys. Woohoo! So, auf Wiedersehen, bis bald und tschüss alle.